There's a game on Steam where you do nothing but dig a hole in your own backyard. And somehow, it's more satisfying than most modern AA releases these days. Nearly 90% of players love it. They're spending hours just digging. Meanwhile, some of the biggest games of the year, with budgets in the hundreds of millions, are struggling to hold anyone's attention. So why does a game with a single mechanic do power fantasy way better than many RPGs that have been in production for more than half a decade?
Ah, now dig up, stupid.
You start with nothing. Just you, a basic shovel, and a never-ending patch of dirt.
That is one big pile of shit.
You swing that shovel. It barely makes a dent. The hole gets deeper, slowly. It's frustrating, but you keep going. Then you find your first ore. You sell it, upgrade your shovel, and suddenly you're digging just that little bit faster. You do it again, and again, and again. This is pure dopamine. A gameplay loop so instinctively rewarding that it makes you forget that time exists. Every action has a direct and immediate impact on your progress. There's no cutscene stopping you, no dialogue slowing you down, no intrusive hand-holding. Just action, progress, and mastery. Now I want you to think for a minute about modern AA games, especially RPGs. How often do they give you this? How often do they actually let you feel powerful because of your actions? Instead of telling you how strong your character is through scripted sequences. Many AAA developers seemingly believe that power fantasy is just about flashy cutscenes and epic music cues. But that's not how it works. It's about control. It's about earning power. Feeling that you started as nobody and becoming an unstoppable force.
Not bad, kid.
And a game where you literally just dig a hole in your backyard does this better than many blockbuster AAA titles today. There's this weird obsession in modern AAA game development with making characters flawed, vulnerable, and deeply introspective. Everything has to be a character study.
This isn't about the dress, is it?
No, it's... I don't know. She always says stuff like that. About how I dress, how I act.
And?
It feels... right. When she says I act more like a man. It feels... right.
Your protagonist has to struggle. They have to question their own morality. They have to be weak before they're allowed to be strong. Except, why? But before we get into that, shameless begging for subs.
Please, sir. I want some more.
Now back to the video. AAA studios are desperate to make games relatable for the modern audience. But that's not why most people play games, especially RPGs. The entire point of an RPG is, of course, escapism. You're supposed to start weak and become a god.
No.
Not struggle through some metaphor for personal trauma.
So... I'm non-binary.
What does that mean?
While your damage output stays the same for 20 hours. Let's use one of Ubisoft's biggest recent flops, Star Wars Outlaws, as an example for this. Instead of letting you be a powerful Jedi, you're stuck playing a small-time outlaw with barely any abilities. You never really get stronger, you just unlock slightly better weapons. And that's where the problem lies. Star Wars Outlaws is an outlaw game where you can't actually be an outlaw. Can you rob civilians? No. Smuggle illegal goods? Definitely not. Make risky, high-stakes choices that define your criminal legacy? No, not really. This game tells you you're an outlaw, but it never actually lets you play as one. Instead, it's another carefully controlled Ubisoft checklist game, a title that keeps you on rails, limiting your actions to what the developers have deemed appropriate. Compare that to older games that got this right. Red Dead Redemption 2 let you be as honourable or as ruthless as you wanted.
Unappealing is what I do best.
Why do men think it's acceptable? Oh mon Dieu!
The original Knights of the Old Republic let you fully embrace the dark side if you wanted. These games didn't just say you were powerful, they let you prove it through gameplay. And then there's a game simply about digging a hole. No tragic backstory.
I was just a boy when the infidels came to my village in their Black Hawk helicopters. The infidels fired at the oil fields and they lit up like the eyes of Allah. Burning oil rained down from the sky and cooked everything it touched. I could only hide myself and cry as my goats were consumed by the fiery black liquid death.
No moral dilemmas, no forced character arc. Just pure, unfiltered gameplay that lets you get stronger and stronger until you're tearing through the ground like an unstoppable force. But the sad thing, we've been conditioned to accept this as normal. Games used to reward you for playing. Now they expect you to sit through hours of filler before you're allowed to feel powerful. That's why a basic digging game feels more rewarding. This is not a nostalgia trip. It's a reminder of how game design should work. AAA developers seem to believe that more mechanics equal better gameplay. Instead of refining a tight, addictive core loop, they shove in skill trees, side quests, crafting mechanics, resource management, and endless fetch quests, as if sheer content volume can make up for a lack of actual engagement. But that is not how it works. A game's moment-to-moment experience is what makes it fun, not how many systems you can throw at the player. I don't know about you, but have you ever had that moment in an RPG where you just suddenly lose all interest? This is because modern RPGs are drown you in tasks instead of simply just letting you play the damn game. And the worst part? Most of us don't even realise it until we're 20 hours deep, wondering why we're bored. This is why a game is simply about digging a hole and seemingly keep players engaged longer than some of the biggest recent RPG releases in the last 12 to 18 months. Because progress is instant, the gameplay is the reward. So AAA studios just keep on making the same old mistakes. They slow down gameplay, they waste your time, and they overcomplicate what should be fun. That's why a game where you dig a hole in your backyard is currently outperforming games that took years and hundreds of millions of dollars to make. Because at the end of the day, progression should be immediate, satisfying, and rewarding. And until AAA studios figure that one out, they're just going to keep losing to a guy with a shovel. And next, well, I can't wait till they start losing to a game about watching paint dry. Bye for now.